Good morning, Quincy High! My name is Jeffrey John David Burke, and you're watching Quincy High's Weekly Update. I'm so glad you guys could join us this week. Trust me, I'm absolutely enthused. We have some really great segments picked out this week that I just know you're going to love. First up, Daniel Artinian returns with some brand new findings relating to the mysterious men he encountered last week, and you're not going to want to miss it. Why did I wink?
As I was saying, that's only one theory, and I personally find it unlikely. A more plausible explanation for the men standing around the van is that they were actually misidentified as government officials, instead being more conventional security guards, and the van was actually an armored bank cart transporting a large sum of money. A recently released file shows that the witness who claimed to see an alien computer inside the van was actually schizophrenic, and likely hallucinated whatever he saw. In my opinion, though, this is unlikely. I understand. No, I understand. Stick to the script. Right. So, in my opinion, this theory is the only plausible and rational explanation.
More explanation. More explanation. More explanation. More explanation.
Okay, I only have a little time before they come back and find me recording, so I'll make this quick. 0.25, negative 71. You can't listen to anything I say, it's all scripted, and they're looking over my shoulder most of the time anyways. I think I've been here before, but I don't know why. I've heard them talking about someone called Professor T. I think he's in charge around here, but I don't know what their plan is yet. I think I can hear them coming. I have to go now.
Wow, that Daniel kid really knows how to keep you at the edge of your seat, huh? Next up, we'll turn things over to Connor Byrne, who will talk us through some more of Quincy High's rich history, namely the Granite Railroad.
The Quincy Granite Railway is known as the United States' first commercial railroad. It was designed by Gridley Bryant and was constructed between April to October in 1826. The railway was first used for horses rather than steam locomotives to bring the cars along the tracks. The horse-drawn cars were used to carry massive granite blocks from the Quincy quarries to a dock on the Neponset River that were then transported by boat for building the Bunker Hill Monument in Charlestown. The railway lasted 4 miles and introduced many railway innovations such as switches, the turntable, and double-track railway cars. The Quincy Granite Railway was later absorbed into the New York, New Haven, and Hartford Railroad. A section of the railway called the Incline was added in 1830 that was used to haul granite. Cars were able to move up and down the 315-foot incline. The incline stopped running in the 1940s and the railway closed in the 1960s. Fragments of the old tracks are scattered around the city of Quincy, and the incline is available to visit at the Quincy Quarries as it is an impressive remnant of the United States' first commercial railroad.
Thank you, Connor. Now we'll hand things over to Kevin Ballerino, who will be discussing the upcoming QHS hybrid learning model with our very special guest, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tag Leary.
Hello, Quincy High. I'm Kevin Ballerino. I'm joined here today with Mr. Tag to discuss the new hybrid model. Can you explain to the audience what the new model is?
Absolutely, Kevin. Great. And I just want to say thanks for having me here, and big kudos to Film and TV 3. You know, everyone gets to see you on the screen, and being joined here with Ashton Foley behind the camera and Brendan Cavan and Joe Sakoch working the controls. You guys are doing a great job, and always Mr. Green there. So you're definitely, this group is helping us all stay connected during this time. But let's talk about that schedule just a little bit, right? So we had a switch that started on Monday, February 1st, the start of term 3. We went from our previous hybrid model, which would be a cohort being in on one day, the other cohort home. Now, when that cohort was home, their job was to access their classes and get assignments off of, let's say, Google Classroom and do their work what we call asynchronously.
Like homework?
Well, kind of like homework, but we like to think that it was kind of progressing. Some of this material might have been new, but right, there wasn't that live interaction with the teacher, you know, and so that would flip on the other 2 days. So now what we started on Monday is that our teachers, amazingly, are going to be streaming their classrooms. we call live streaming their classrooms. And all of the instruction now, through the end of the year, will be synchronous for our hybrid students. So when they are home on those days that they are not assigned to come to school, they will be logging directly into the classroom and receiving instruction.
What made you decide, was hybrid not going that smoothly? Like, what made you decide to switch up the model?
Right, well, I don't think this is not a total Quincy High School pure decision, but in conjunction with the district and with some guidelines that were put out by the Department of Education, they were not taking account for asynchronous learning towards time-on learning for our students. That was a big piece. Personally, for us within the district, having the personal connection with the teacher, we thought was very important that we could enhance. So we have so many kids that are doing very, very well during this pandemic with their studies. And you know what? We have students that are having a very difficult time. Being inside the school, I think, is a very special piece for our kids. So I think it's a good move forward for our curriculum. I think our teachers will adapt to this, much like they did the remote learning. So I think it's a good move.
So you think that they're going to, the hybrid students are going to react positively to this?
Yeah, well, whenever you ask me like how a student's going to react, that's always a good question, Kevin. But, I think it will be more consistency for them.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd like to think that they would see it as in a positive light. I think our families overall would see it as more positive. I think it definitely gives more structure for our students and what they're doing. And for our teachers, I think it gives them a more consistency of the curriculum moving.
So remote kids are like 24/7, well, not 24/7, that's the whole day, but like every single day they have to do Zoom calls. But with the hybrid kids, only certain days they did the Zoom calls. Now that the hybrid kids are fully doing all Zoom calls, they're all streamed, does that mean remote kids can now jump over to like hybrid classrooms?
Okay, let's make sure that I understand that question. Let's make sure our audience gets that question. So, right, so currently our remote students go 3 days a week with a particular class, right? And with this new model that we're doing for hybrid, the hybrid students will now be 3 days a week. So your question is,
Could a
remote student now go into a hybrid class? And the answer is yes. Yes, so there's a great deal of flexibility with that piece for us. And we've had a number of families and students that kind of toggle. You know, people are making decisions about which one they want to do. Still, you know, through this pandemic, this will definitely give us a lot more flexibility in doing that.
With the change in the model and remote kids jumping to higher classes, is that just going to be like another wave of like schedules like being reworked again, like how there was at the start of the year?
I wouldn't have come on your show, Kevin, if I was going to share that information. No, absolutely not. Schedules are not changing whatsoever. We did, starting for term 3 though, we were able to get some additional staffing. So for some of our students, for some of our remote classes that had high numbers, they're going to be lessened. And how did we do that? We have another teacher that's going to teach during that same period. So it is conceivable that a student in some of those high remote classes, which won't be high anymore, will go to another class. It will be the same period. Their schedule won't be disrupted, but they will have a different teacher. So that could happen. But there is no jumping of anyone's schedules, nothing like when we made that conversion from remote to hybrid. You know, and I can't thank the students and the teachers and the families enough, because there was a lot of work that went into it, and it wasn't the easiest thing to do, but we got through it. Our guidance staff did a terrific job working the schedules, and kids adapt. Quincy High School kids adapt.
How do you know if because like if someone's jumping from like one English class to math classes, I know the remote kids were farther ahead in most classes like that. How do you know they'll be on the same page?
Well, I don't know if they were, you're saying that the remote students will be further along than the other classes. I think any class, section to section, is going to be a little bit in a different spot. I think our departments work very closely with the teachers within the particular subjects, kind of knowing where students are. And certainly we're going to accommodate and get kids any place that they need to be if their schedule changes.
So on that note, thank you, Mr. Tag, for the interview. I hope this clears everything up
Yeah.
with how the model change works. And see you, Quincy High.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll discuss a very serious matter. Cows. You know them. You love them. But who are they really, and what are they here for? And whom do they serve? All questions we hope to answer right now. Right now? Ah, I see. Apparently we don't have that this week, but tune in next week and we might have some answers for you. Thanks, and good night, Quincy High.